What is up, y'all? We're back with another Stranger Things Season 5 video. Before we get into it, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So you all, recently in an interview, David Harbour, he brings up some crazy points about Stranger Things Season 5 and the final table read we got to get into, plus some more things about the plot and some details. But to get into this article over on The Hollywood Reporter, David Harbour says, look, I'm very close to the show, so I have very strong opinions, and they may not match yours. If you're a fan of the show, he began, I'm an actor on the show, so I see the nuts and bolts, adding that he can sometimes be very critical of it and gets very mad at a bad episode or a season he didn't like. But when it comes to the final Stranger Things episode, which will be the 8th one in the final season, Harbour shared that he has no complaints. They land the plane, and it's their best episode they've ever done. The Black Widow star says, before diving into an anecdote from the day the cast did the final table read, the end of this episode when we were reading it, just us reading about halfway through, people started crying, Harbour recalled. Then about the last 20 minutes, it was just uncontrollably crying. Waves of different people, Noah being my favorite. So basically, David talks about, you know, them doing a final table read with the final episode and everything, and some of the cast crying, but Noah was uncontrollably crying. He was, you know, the one that was crying the most, which I'm gonna tell you guys, if you follow the channel, you know I've been talking about this and speculating this. I think Noah Schnapp is crying because his character gets a, you know, a great send-off, but in the way of him passing away. I think Noah Schnapp knows, you know, that this was going to happen and everything. But yes, the character will be passing away, it seems to be, possibly. I think what will happen is it will be that full circle moment. You know, it started with Will, it's going to end with Will. If you think about it, it can't end unless Will, you know, passes away, because if he's still up and running, you know, Vecna's still going to always be connected to Will, unless they, you know, defeat Vecna, which is going to be very hard, because I mean, they damn near didn't defeat him in season 4. So I really do think, you know, it's going to be something along the lines where Will's going to have to make that sacrifice. I said 11, but I feel like if one of them die, the other one won't. I don't think Will and 11 will pass away. I think it'll just come to a, you know, a time where Will just makes that sacrifice for his friends and just let them live a regular life. But I could still be wrong. It could be something where, you know, 11 ends up, you know, passing away for the group. And, you know, Will, he's really cool with Millie in real life and, you know, on the show. So maybe that just hurts his feelings that 11 made that sacrifice, because she's like this superhero type of cast member. But now I'm starting to, you know, raise questions. Is, you know, in this final episode, is Will the one that's going to walk away and just be, you know, a goner and just take that risk for the gang? We saw some stuff out there in the Stranger Things community where we can potentially be seeing Stranger Things Season 5 released next year around Thanksgiving time. But yeah, I think that'll be an interesting time for Stranger Things to be released if it happens, you know, 2025 Thanksgiving. And, you know, especially because it seemed to be that we're going to have some stuff take place on Thanksgiving or around that season in season 5. But like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe it's just something that's happening in Stranger Things that's around Thanksgiving time. And, you know, Thanksgiving time is closer to Stranger Things Day, so it makes sense. But like I said, pushing forward, I think Will is a goner. I think he's going to make that sacrifice, and I think it's going to be something where he does get converted over to, you know, being a bad guy for a little while with Vecna and everything. And I think he's going to start noticing the longer that I stay, you know, alive and things like that, my friends are indeed in danger. Just because you kind of seen that in season 4 where he's like rubbing his neck and everything, so he still feels Vecna. I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to realize at the end, like, long as I'm, you know, up and breathing, they're in danger. He's going to make that sacrifice. And, you know, Joyce is going to be crying, and Jonathan and everything. And I want to say this. I don't think that, you know, Will's going to be the only one that dies. I think it's going to be some more cast members. But I will say that, you know, we got that episode, The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. I think that him, Nancy, and Mike will get closer, you know, as friends, because, you know, we got that episode of The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, Holly Wheeler might, you know, vanish. maybe for, you know, a long time of these episodes, or if it's short, you know, they find her early, I think that they can gain, you know, a little, you know, a friendship, or just, you know, be closer a little bit. Holly and Will, and I think Will's going to be the one to help them, Will, Byers, and Joyce, because they've been through this before. They could probably explain why, you know, they got these split up groups where we got Joyce and Robin, and, you know, sometimes we've seen like Mike and you know, Robin. I think that's what it's all about. It's all surrounding Holly Wheeler, because she's going to be technically like the new Will Byers, you know, especially with her dealing with Henry Creel. I think that's going to be something like that, and, you know, Will's going to know how to take on it, and he's going to come together with Mike, and Mike's going to need Will's help. You know, we might get a scene where Mike's like, you've been through this before, you need to help me, like, tell me, like, and that's what's going to happen. And I think that alongside, Will will start getting darker and darker, you know, next to the situation with Holly Wheeler, or maybe Will is responsible for the vanishing of Holly Wheeler, you know, if he's working with Vecna. It could be something like that along the lines, but I can be wrong. But overall, I definitely, you know, can see it already that Will's going to be, you know, one of the big characters in this, where it's surrounding him, because he's, you know, a big part of the story, and it started with him, so it has to end with him, and he has a lot of these directions that's connected to him through Vecna, so they're going to have to be involved with Will a little bit more. You know, previously they weren't involved with Will for real in these episodes, I feel like, but I feel like, you know, season 5 is going to have to go back to that point, like the Duffer said, because it started that way, it has to end this way, and they're going to be focusing more on the main core of kids. We see some casting being needed for the call for the character Sarah Hopper, which is Hopper's daughter, and we know the situation with her. So it seems like we're going to get a flashback with Hopper and his daughter, maybe him having to think back on that because of a situation that's going on with 11 right now, you know, because 11's like his new daughter. So maybe that's something he has to go back into and kind of look at, something that happened in his past life with his daughter. But overall, man, I'm thinking it's so cool that Stranger Things obviously is doing a lot of these callbacks to the previous seasons, especially, like I said, Will, you know, that flashback obviously being in the works and everything, and just seeing a lot of stuff that they've been releasing on Fridays with the Duffer Brothers. And I really am excited for this, man. And that has me so just worried what David said in that article about, you know, Noah just crying uncontrollably and the whole class crying, because you gotta think they've all been friends through all of this. They watch each other grow up and stuff like that. So it's obviously some type of emotional, you know, moment that happens in these episodes. Now, I'm pretty sure if it's emotional to them, it's gonna be emotional to us, the ones who've been watching since the very beginning. Now, like I said, pushing forward, I don't think Will's gonna be the only one that, you know, loses his life. I think it's going to be a couple others, probably Steve Harrington, or just some characters we're not thinking about right now. I don't think that if Will ends up, you know, biting the dust, I don't think they're going to pull from that group again, you know, the one that has Dustin, the main core of kids. I think that they're not going to do that, so I think Will's going to be one to take the hit for that group, and the older kids group will take a hit. That just makes sense to me. But overall, like I said, I'm very excited for Stranger Things season 5. I know that trailer is on the way, possible Stranger Things Day. You guys know we're going to be covering it here. I cannot wait to see what happens with Stranger Things season 5 in the trailer, and just giving us some things to break down and talk about and know what we're working with. So yeah, guys, comment down below what you think about everything we just talked about when it comes to Stranger Things season 5, and how you feel about everything that we just talked about. Let me know down in the comments. Unfortunately, this is the end of the video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.